Hey, here we are. I'm going to wait and see if somebody chats in, make sure we're live before I go ahead and do some introductions here. Usually it's Big Boss Jack. You guys can hear me, right?
Yep.
All right, cool. Hey, welcome everyone to the Man Cave. My name is Paul Knapp, and I will be your host for tonight's show. This is season number 2, episode 20. And once again, it is Be a Man Monday. And your quote for today: if your mother-in-law pisses you off, show her brochures for nursing homes. Be a man.
Or it's a raisin ranch.
Tonight's waiting in the green room. Tonight's special guest is Sean Huxter from Huxter's Lab. Looking forward to talking to him tonight. Tonight's YouTube channel plug goes to Action Pop Cast. Action Pop Cast. He was on my show yesterday from the UK, so check out his channel if you would. I'd like to thank all my subscribers, and 3 of my newest followers are Toy Soldier Forever, Carlos Garcia, and Gabriela Escobar. So thank you for joining us. There we go. We got some chats. Hey, Big Boss Jack, Matthew O'Connor. Guess you heard that joke. All right. Next Monday, we will not be having a show in America here. It is Memorial Day. We are kicking off summer. It's a 3-day weekend. That must be somebody in the background there, huh?
I wonder who.
Already kicking off the Memorial Day weekend a little early, are you? So no show next week. We will pick it up in that'll be June 3rd will be our next live stream. So, and now let's see who had nothing better to do than to hang out with me on a Monday night, shall we? Let's see. Who should I start? Who should I pick on first tonight? You know what? We got somebody from Canada here with us tonight. I think I'm gonna pull this guy in first. All right, Murray. His good cholesterol is low. His bad cholesterol is high, and his BMI is borderline presidential, but he will never stop collecting toys until the day he dies. This is Murray Corrigan.
Yay!
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the show tonight. We're happy to have you.
I really don't know your medical record or history. I'm just,
That's the
I'll make
whole
that
idea.
shit up.
Yep. Keep you in the dark.
All right. And next up, his first marriage difficulties began when he wanted to name his children mild, medium, and hot. But he doesn't let domestic issues get in the way of his repairing vintage G.I. Joes. This is Mike, the medic Bowinsky.
Hi, everybody.
Remember, I don't have a clap button here. You guys got to clap for each other, all right?
You need a clap button.
Hey, I just learned how to hook up the internet better today from Stacy. Stacy helped me out today, so. All right, Stacy, here's yours, buddy. Little does anyone know, but this man is the cannoli eating champion of the state of Michigan. Yet he still finds time to work on his collection. Let's hear it for Stacy Armstrong.
Yeah.
You even like cannolis, man? I don't know. I should have asked you if you even like cannolis.
I do.
Oh, okay.
Look at this face. Come on. I love food.
And last but not least, this man is so proud of his Scandinavian heritage that he only shops at IKEA. He drives a Volvo and he cooks everything on the Viking range. This is Jeff Shearer.
That's good. That's good.
And welcome everybody. Hopefully, you guys seen the chats on the right. We got Andy from Indies here with us. How you doing, Andy?
Yep.
What's up,
Patty, as always. Thank you for joining us.
Mm-hmm.
Matthew O'Connor. Do we have any questions yet already?
Not yet.
Logic Blaster. Hey, glad you could join us tonight, brother.
Thank you, Logic Blaster. I'm happy to provide those tips.
Okay. I'm reading to see if there's any questions in there. Michael Burke, thank you. So, as always, I'm going to go around the room and say what's new in your zoo, and we're going to head back up to the top. We're going to go back up to Canada. Murray, we haven't heard from you in a while. What's new in your zoo, buddy?
Let's see. We got really lucky. I finally got my passport, my new passport, so I was able to get to the border and pick this up. I,
Hey, wait a second. That figure looks wrong.
Yeah.
yeah, it is. It's one of those airport ones wearing action team outfit.
Oh, okay.
It's a Ken, or what is it, Mr. Action or something?
Yeah.
It's a knockoff. Live from the wilds yesterday of Thunder Bay.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
Yeah, not bad at all. Hands are a little chewed up, but aside from that, he's really good.
Very nice.
So yeah, it was a good week. It's been about a year or maybe a year and a half since I found anything in the wild, so I was quite happy.
Very
Oh,
cool.
nice.
All right. Moving down to Medic Mike. What's new in your zoo, brother?
I got
You always got something cooking, man. You're always rehabbing something in the
something.
vintage.
This is something that a friend of mine, me, I know a guy like 3 blocks from me owns a vintage toy store, antique toys and stuff. Unbelievable. Great guy to know for obvious reasons. He had a bunch of these and some Darth Vaders with the arms out of there like that. They just got like a rubber band in there and some hooks, just like just like a Joe, but they got shit for articulation. But what he tells me is that these are first run Star Wars figures, and that they're worth more than a few bucks nowadays. So
kidding.
I'll fix a couple of these up for the guy.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Hey,
I didn't ask him for any money in return. I said, "Give me some of these."
oh, paid in kind.
Bartering.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so I got there's 3 of them here. Pretty decent 60s guys. So
Not bad at
I
all.
was happy with the trade.
Heck yeah, man. Nice.
Good stuff.
That's about it that's going on here today. Let's see, what did I show off? Oh, I already showed off the Pooms last week, so we're good. All covered.
Gotcha. Have a beer for me, brother. Stacy, the computer expert who hooked me up today. He kept me online for about an hour and a half saying, Paul, your internet sucks. We narrowed it down to Paul, your internet sucks.
I wasn't wrong. So
no, you were right on spot, brother.
all right. Well, so today, reflocking, repainting, and repairing, and then got these done. They all run now.
Cool.
Did this.
Nice.
And I got all of these running. I got a bunch of them.
Holy smokes. You got a fleet.
Sweet.
Fleet week in Michigan.
Yep.
Wow, dude.
So pretty busy today. I got a bunch more to do. So I had to take time off to help somebody with their internet issues.
The check is in the mail. The check is in the mail.
Yeah.
Woo.
And the mail here is as slow as my internet, so it might be a while till you get that check.
Oh, it definitely will. I'm sure it will.
All right, the bearded one. How are you, sir?
Oh, I'm great. Had a lot going on lately. I got 2,000 subscribers on my channel, which thanks to everybody who subscribed and who subscribed lately. I got a lot of stuff going on. I got a ton of photo stories coming out. Just finished one. And most importantly, I've got a bunch of stuff being sewn right now by my top secret seamstress. So I've got, I'll share one thing with you guys. I'm doing a few of the G.I. Joe Tiger Force Recondo outfits. I kind of sourced some camo. Here's the pants.
Wow.
Okay.
And here's going to be what the top's going to be out of. So I've got those, and I've got several other different outfits. Some are going to be featured in my photo stories, and the others I think I'm going to do some giveaways this fall. I'm taking off at the end of the month. I'm going to take off the rest of the summer from posting, try to do some live streams. Then I'll come back with a 2,000 subscriber special with a bunch of giveaways and some other stuff. So
First question
going on.
First question of the night goes to you, brother. Playscale Soldier wants to know what's that missile thing in the background.
That is a model rocket that I bought last fall at an auction. It is massive. It takes a E engine, I believe, and I got to have a license to shoot it. So it's a prop right now. It's like 4 feet tall. It's huge. I mean, here.
Wow.
Yeah, let's see, man. Oh yeah.
Damn, dude.
Good
Yeah,
Lord.
it's
How old is that? What year?
I think it's probably 90s. Maybe it's from a company called Lock Productions. Maybe. Well, I did a live stream with Model Rockets 321 a few months ago, and
Yeah,
he told me all about it. And I bought it for like $15, and I didn't really understand what I bought. So I got to figure out. I like to launch it eventually, so we'll see. Maybe I'll put a Joe in it.
Definitely.
Yes.
Strap a Joe to it.
Yep.
Yeah,
You could put a couple Joes in that. Shit, man. I think so.
it's huge.
Just remember those pilots, they like to have a window. Otherwise, they feel like they're not doing their job, right?
I don't even know if a pilot's coming back when I launch this thing. I don't know.
You just put Ken in there.
Yeah. Hey, I got one I can send
No,
you.
me. I'll just put a vintage Action Man in there. And
Hey,
my parachute
send
drop.
it to me, and I'll send you a Ken. Oh,
All right, guys. You ready for this special guest? I know we got a lot of questions lined up for him.
Yeah,
mhm.
yeah.
I think he's been in hiding for the last 10 years or something like that. Nobody's actually seen this guy's face, is what I heard. So,
Well, I have it on good information that he's spent a little time in the Slammer.
Oh, wait, let me pull that up. Let's
Ruh-roh.
Oh, whoa, Sean Huxter.
Azkaban prison.
Maybe that's why he's on the witness protection program or something.
It might be.
Seen him in a while, man. Shit. Well,
Ark in prison.
all right, man. Let's bring in our special guest here, and I do have an introduction for him as well. There he is. This man loves to sip.
Hey.
This man loves to sip from the volcano. He likes to ride the tornado, and he loves the dragon. He is multidisciplined in various athletic sports, but he chooses vintage GI Joes and 3D printing above everything else. This is Mr. Sean Huxter.
What's up, Sean?
Welcome.
Hey, I don't know where you got that mugshot.
I don't know either.
Supposed to be. I think I was supposed to be sealed record.
Sure.
We use magic.
Welcome. It is an honor and privilege to track you down, sir, and finally get you on the live stream. How are you?
Good. I've been around.
Oh, I know. You're just hard to tack down. But hey, I think everybody on the show probably owns at least one piece of something you've made in the past. For those of you who don't know, Mr. Sean Huxter, Huxter Lab. Most of your stuff is bought on Cotswold Collectibles. Am I correct?
Mostly, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So
I sometimes sell some things off to the side. I have an Etsy store. Not much, no GI Joe stuff in the Etsy store. And then I have a Shapeways store, which there is some 1/6 scale stuff up on the Shapeways store, which they print. So I don't do any of that. They just print it, make most of the money, and then send me a little small, tiny amount. But at least it gets the stuff out there.
you are correct, Mr. Logic Blaster. Sean is a legend in the 1/6 scale, no doubt. So hey, I'm going to start off with the first question. When did you first get started with the 3D printing? Was it from when they first started out with the resin printers, or the cheap printers, or is it more something?
Yeah. So I've been keeping track of the let's face it. If I had a 3D printer when I was a kid, my life would be very different. I've been like a toy designer my entire life, but I don't really want to carve out of wood. I don't want to. There's a bunch of stuff I can't do or I don't want to do, so I've kind of just waited. Then 3D modeling came along, which I did, which is great. So you can make almost anything in your mind. And then about 2010, I started hearing about the Form 1 resin printer. And then I started watching the evolution of 3D printers happen. And about 2011 or 12, I bought a magazine and they talked about the best printers. And the one that won that show that year was called the Affinia H179. And it was like $2,600 at the time. So I sold a bunch of toys, gathered up enough money and bought one. And then I started immediately making stuff. And then I entered a contest with 2 of my designs, and I won a second one. So that was kind of cool. And then I was just kind of like, so in 2013, I got my first one. Got my second one 6 months later when I won that competition. And then the prices started to come down, and I would just buy one every now and then. And now I have 10 of them. 4 of them are going at any one time. And the rest are kind of just sitting there waiting to be replaced when one of them has a problem. So I can just swap it out or for parts or whatever. So yeah, I got 10 of them now. So it's been just over 10 years, about 11 years I've been 3D printing.
Nice. Okay, guys, the floor is yours, man. Ask away.
Well, I first discovered you, I think, would have been one of the G.I. Joe conventions, because you did, was it the Save the Pygmy Rhino types? Was it something like that you did? I actually pulled out the club newsletter magazine and looked at those photos. And I also remember seeing them online. I think that's the first time I discovered you, and then by accident I found your Shapeways page. So yeah, I was blown away by your stuff when I saw it for the Collectors Club, and I think I've mentioned this on my channel. Your Helipack was used in one of the cartoon issues of that Collector Club. I don't know if you remember that.
I do. That was I do remember that. This is the Rhino. This is the very same. This is the Rhino from the show, by the way.
That was great.
Cool. And the horn comes off. There's a little. I put a magnet in there so the horn can pop back on. Yeah. And part of the set was there was an aerial drone and a little backpack that launched it that you could put on your back, which kind of harkens back to the G.I. Joe action pack idea.
Yeah.
So I wanted to run with the action pack idea, which was put it on your back and then you take it off and you do something with it. And so the drone came from that. And then there was a bazooka that shot a big tranquilizer dart. And that would knock the Rhino out. And then he had a replacement horn that would, they cut the Rhino's horn off, replaced it with a mechanical one that had cameras and sensors and Wi-Fi uplink so that if anybody tried to poach it, they'd have it on camera. And of course, what people want to do with the Rhino is kill them, take the horn for stupid reasons, and just let the animal die. So if you remove the horn and put something back that the Rhino can use and not be harmed, you've removed the reason to kill the Rhino. So that was the whole thing. And this is the comic book that came with the
Wow. That was a great backstory.
Yes, that was the 2014 Dallas convention, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
And so yeah, I have I put that out. There was 2 figures, and then there was the Rhino and the bazooka and the dart box and the comic book.
50 years ago.
The 50th anniversary of G.I. Joe is the reason I did that.
Yeah. Yep. Did the club ever approach you, Sean, about doing any stuff?
At that time, no. I approached Greg in 2014 at that show, and I showed him the prototype of my Helijet, the Helijet pack, which was bulky and fragile and crappy, but still, I had actually a plastic harness that pulled down over the body, much like a roller coaster harness.
Yeah,
and it snapped into place. It was really cool, but it was so fragile I could never sell it to somebody because they'd break it. So Greg liked the idea, but then he liked the drone. So the first thing we did was a midnight mission set where he had this entirely black uniform and a backpack and the drone. He wanted me to scale the drone down a bit so it would fit into one of the backpacks, which I did. And then I made the wrist communicator that everybody seems to have. And then a couple of other things, I think, but mostly that was the first experiment with 3D printing for Cotswold. And this was when Greg didn't run the place. It was Tina Wendler, I believe, and she was pretty open for it. But then the more we did, the more she liked it, So we just kept going after that. He saw I showed him the Helijet, and he said, "Well, I'd like to sell that." I said, "Well, I can't because it'll break, and people will blame me, and I don't want to sell anything that'll break." Even though the design was really cool, I like the way the hinges came apart was just crazy cool. But no way would I sell it. So I spent a year totally redesigning it, making it better looking, and then I used like a cloth harness. So there's almost no way you can break the thing now. So then we started selling them.
What about Catastrophe in the Gulf?
Oh man, the names I don't remember. Which one was that?
That's the one with like the sled, and it's got the motor at the bottom, and it's got the shark and the.
Yeah. So that was Greg found, or one of us found. I can't remember. So Greg and I work a lot together. So when we have an idea, we'll bounce it off each other, and if I like it, I'll do it. If I don't like it, I just sort of drop it. because there's some things I don't want to do for reasons. My printers are too small or there's too much effort involved. But usually I'll get very excited. And one of the things he found was this Playmobil motor, which is just like the ones you just showed,
Right.
Which worked perfectly, and it was blue. So he had these blue wetsuits, really nice blue wetsuits, and we wanted to do something with blue, yellow, and I designed the sea sled to fit on the chest, strapped to the back, hold on to the control sticks, and then the motor slid on underneath perfectly. Mm-hmm. And then I designed a backpack rebreather, and a mask that fit into the hooded mask that was part of the wetsuit. And we just did that, and that was a pretty cool set. I like that one.
Yeah, I liked it. Yeah, I really did.
The color is really, really nice because he had yellow swim fins already.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And so we used yellow and blue.
And the blue, right? They both came to really good. They look good together.
Yeah, it was a nice set.
Yeah.
Hey, Logic Blaster has a question from the chats. He wants to know: are you working on any new projects for Cotswold that you can kind of give us a teaser on?
Of course I am.
Isn't it? Aren't we all?
And there's your answer, Logic Blaster.
We're going to introduce a set at the DFW GI Joe show in June.
Oh, cool!
Excellent.
And it might bring back some deja vu feelings to some people.
Well,
hey, Sean.
Greg Brown already showed us the MP stuff, but you're not doing anything like that, are you?
No, I don't do a lot of military things. Mostly, I was an adventure team kid, so all my stuff is adventure, conservation. There's some spy stuff. So I do make weapons because spy stuff's kind of cool. Spy Island and that sort of thing. I did that set for one of the shows last year, which was all black, and it had the black jetpack and the black drop box, and black and red was the theme, and it had like EMP detonator mines, and it was really cool set. That's about as military as I get, but mostly my stuff's adventure based on the stuff. Some of the adventure team sets, like Save the White Tiger or the Pygmy Gorilla and the Yeti, that sort of thing. That's kind of what my jam.
Have you like when you go first off, how far back do you draw your inspiration from to design new stuff? Like how far back? Yeah, you're like just tall. So you're going back and thinking of just things. Man, I wish I had this when I was a kid, and just I can tell.
Literally.
I can tell.
Literally. It's I wish I had this when I was a kid. Is why I have all this now.
Yeah,
from everything. So when I was a kid, I was like 7 years old. I was watching Thunderbirds on CBC in Canada, and that show was just amazing. So I'm a big fan of Thunderbirds, Jerry Anderson's works, UFOs, Captain Scarlet, all that sort of stuff. Space 1999 is big for me. So I do things like this.
Oh yeah.
Let me bring you up.
Thunderbird 3, right? From Thunderbirds, and that's like what's that, like 18 inches tall? And then a few years ago, about 7 years ago, the Weta put out a new version of the show, and this was the new Thunderbird 3, which I modeled as well. I modeled this from like 3 photographs that they did, and it's incredibly accurate. But the cool thing about this one is the arms come out.
Mm-hmm.
Holy smokes!
Awesome.
And then come out like this. And the reason that is in the show is that this is used to grab things in space and stabilize them. Now, what you don't see is these arms also extend up, but I didn't model that part. But this thing is a monster. It's like 2 feet tall practically.
Wow.
All made of pieces and gears, and well, not gears, but hinges. And then these wires here are just literally raw filament just bent.
Cool.
You wouldn't believe how close this is to the actual show's Thunderbird 3.
Is that PLA? Is that what
What's
that's made out of? PLA?
ABS. This is
ABS.
all ABS. And this is the newly designed Thunderbird 1 from the same series, the newer series. I was going to make this so that the wings fold down when you spin the back, but I just never got around to doing the engineering on it. But I could.
Wow. That's
Nicely
awesome.
done.
That was part of my inspiration, and also the GI Joe Adventure Team was a huge inspiration, obviously. And I had the Turbocopter, which I absolutely loved. I thought that was one of the coolest things ever.
Yep.
I had the really weird drag bike.
Uh-huh.
I never quite understood how how that worked exactly, because when you put the GI Joe down, I've never seen anybody ride a bike frontwards, right? So
At least not intentionally.
Yeah.
But the escape car was cool too. I never had the escape car, but I loved it. And the escape car is kind of what I envisioned when I made the lunar hopper. Was kind of like based on the escape car. But the turbocopter gave me the idea for the helijet.
Right.
Wow, yeah, I could see that for sure.
And the idea with the helijet is you put it on your back, and the engine bells come out here, which I have one right here. But these also come off.
Yep.
You kind of got to rock them off otherwise. And then they slip back on like so. And then it becomes, you can carry it around as a backpack, or you can store it in an ATV.
Yep.
That's great.
And recently for that spy set, I made a clip for the drone. This is the new drone we made for the Arctic set.
Yeah.
And this clips onto the back of the helijet, and you can take this whole assembly comes off.
That's amazing.
Oh, that's wow.
That's awesome.
Reusable that I can reuse or repurpose.
Yeah, smart.
So
Sean, can you read that question? I'm sorry, from the chat room. Is there plans to release the helipack?
Well, the helipac's a lot of work, but yes, we occasionally will do a run of helipacks. Yeah, whenever Greg wants more, or when I've got time. The fact is, though, we're always working on new stuff, and I'm also like doing orders of back stuff. So there's never time in a year to do like if I could just do the printing and let somebody else do the assembly, I could generate jetpacks, like anybody, right? But I can't. I'm one person, and it's a fair amount of work.
Oh, no doubt.
Yeah,
that's an understatement.
Yeah.
So how long of a process you when you start just your original idea to final production piece? What's like roughly what it usually takes you?
It varies depending on what it is. I mean,
like how about the platform there next to you?
That came around pretty quickly because we see, this is a weird question too, because Greg, like maybe 7 years ago, said, "Hey, do you want to do one of these?" And he showed me the Hiller, right? And all I could think was, my printer does things in about this big.
Yeah.
And for me to make something, I'd have to make it in many pieces and assemble it together. And the Hiller kind of made you want to make something this big. I said, well, I can't really do that. But it struck me a few, like last year or the year before, that, I could just model it in pieces and put it together, and it would probably look as good as if it was a solid round piece. And I was dubious at first. I said, that's not going to work. It's going to look stupid. But I tried it, and it wasn't that bad. And the bell portion is more or less the same. In fact, I took the cross-section of the helijet and extruded around. So this is exactly the same shape as the helijet's engine. I just extruded around on a wider angle. Like, so this and this are the same.
Oh, wow.
And then I just started modeling in the details. So, it's got the same idea. There's a central hub with these struts that push the air out through. So this is based on the Dyson concept, where a large, powerful engine pushes air out through this bell, and this is hollow, and it pushes it down into a stable column of air, just like the Dyson fan, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Only with a jet-powered engine. And so it came together pretty quickly. That one was like maybe 3 months from the idea that I could do it to actually having a prototype ready.
Oh, wow.
Usually
Cool.
things take a lot longer than that.
Jeff, that is straight up Johnny Quest, isn't it?
Oh yeah, when I first saw that, I instantly
Yeah,
pre-ordered
kind of,
it.
yeah.
I was like, I gotta have one of those,
Yep, that's that was part of the inspiration, obviously, right?
Yeah.
What's the most difficult thing you've ever designed for the Adventure Team or the Elite Brigade line?
Wow, good question. Maybe the lunar lander.
That's
I haven't seen that yet.
that's pretty
That
cool.
thing's pretty wild. Yeah.
This is
Oh,
the lunar
wow.
hopper, it's
Yeah.
called. So the astronaut comes off of here. So this, it's got the rocket engine in the bottom.
Oh, cool.
This has got a movable ball joint joystick, attitude control for up and down. It's built out of like plastic cake dowel for the legs, and it's got landing feet. There's a little catch here so that the seat can slide back and forth. So that it was originally designed to carry a tray, which could carry a small plastic box that Greg had bought a bunch of, and they're really good like utility boxes.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you slide the seat forward, the box could slide into the slot and stick out the back.
Yeah.
And without that, you can take the lunar experiment that I created, which is kind of loosely based on one that they actually used on the moon, and you push that forward to a point where it's like so, and you lock the seat in place in several notches. And now the lunar experiment is carried in the same way.
Oh, shoot, man.
Fucking awesome, dude.
Yeah, that is wild.
That is so
These
cool.
are McDonald's play balls, by the way.
Those are McDonald's play balls? Yeah.
Okay. So you gotta get your hands on one of those, Sean.
So how many of those did you make and actually sell, or was that like a one-time deal?
Maybe 25. I can't remember exactly.
Yeah, I remember when they came out.
This is the lunar experiment that goes on the back, and that's solar panels, and then these slide out on an angle, and then the top pops off. Now this is a prototype, so it's not finished. The finished actually has metal foil going around it and looks more like a real lunar thing.
Oh, wow.
Right.
Anyway, that's all part of the.
That is
That is
awesome.
so cool.
That was the
That is
sold as
awesome.
an extra add-on.
Yeah,
So that's probably the most complicated thing, maybe. I'm looking around at some of the other stuff I did. I think, yeah, that's probably the most complicated. And
Hey,
thanks
Lego.
to 3D printing and scaling, I've also done a Super Joe version of the Helijet, which nobody's seen yet.
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
behind the scenes.
Today,
That's going to sell like hotcakes.
Dude,
I'm worried that it might.
Oh, yeah, it will. Those Super Joe guys are, those Super Joe Limited, I don't know what it's called now, Astro Command. Those guys are just crazy for that stuff.
Oh, I know. This is taking off right now, and I actually tried scaling this down and seeing if it would work. The only thing I really had to do was beef up the joysticks a little because the hands aren't as flexible.
Uh-huh.
So I had to make a couple of minor adjustments, but other than that, it just prints the same way. And it's
You
got the
better
thumb.
make a bunch of those babies.
yeah,
Yeah, I'm thinking about taking some to the DFW show and see if it flies.
Yeah.
Not literally flies because it doesn't.
This was so like crap.
contact Steve.
Hey, so I got a question for you. The rack system that you invented, okay?
Yep.
Chicken before the egg. I mean, what came first? Was it the pieces and you said I need to put a rack on it, or did the rack come first and you said, how can I put all this stuff on top of this?
Greg wanted something that could fit in the back of an ATV and kind of be a cover as well as a platform. So it's more kind of Greg's idea, and then we batted around the idea for a bit. And then I started thinking, I'm already making these little modules. I should make them so that they fit under the racks. And now I got like 7 or 8 different racks modules, and probably more than that, all of which fit on the racks platform. And of course, it comes with hinges, so it pops up like a trunk on the back of the ATV.
Yep.
Then, of course, came along the G.I. Joe tower mount, so you could put the racks on the tower, on the training tower. And then he wanted a trailer for the ATV, which let me grab it over here.
That thing's great. I got a review of that coming.
So this is the trailer. This is the orange version for the troubleshooter. I didn't release this because I couldn't get a consistent orange that would print properly, but this one works pretty well. So this also has racks on it, and it sits like so on the ground, but then this slips back like a strut, and then it just is towed on the back of an ATV. And then there's a tab here, which is exactly like the one on the ATV. This one doesn't have it. There's also even a little metal grommet. And literally, you can just daisy chain these for as long as you want because one could fit right onto the other.
Yep.
Wow.
And the racks on this one was designed to open up and then tilt up and drop down out of the way.
Yep.
That is so cool.
But then you can also, for this one, you can't really do it with the racks, but for this one, you can pop it up and swing it out, and you can actually have it as 2 separate small racks on the side.
Dude, you are a genius.
And you know what?
Unbelievable.
You know what the most fun about that was, Sean, when I got it in, when I did the other ones, I had to put it together, which I was so happy because I got to actually assemble something. And I sat here at this very desk when I got that, and I put it all together. It was great.
Well, you'll love the Lunar Rover because it comes in a bunch of parts. Like a lot of it is pre-assembled, but then there's an instruction video on my site about how to put it together. So the legs come separately, but mostly you have to put some of that together yourself. So that's kind of cool. I try not to do that though because I did sell some stuff for Space 1999. The Dinky Eagles. I used to sell pods for them in pieces as like a model kit. And people complained because they were getting older. They didn't have the good eyesight anymore. They didn't have the dexterity. So they didn't want a kit. So now I basically build everything I can and don't leave much up to the person because I find that it's a disadvantage to some people. To some, it's fine. But yeah, some people sort of said, I'd buy it, but I don't really want to have to construct it. And speaking of, there's the dinky Space 1999 Eagle.
Oh wow, yeah.
Now this one is special because I repainted this white. Why this one is so cool is this is not the original engine. This is a 3D printed version of the engine that's more realistic to the show. And you can get this on Shapeways. So if you own a dinky Eagle, you can go on Shapeways and get the engines. You can get the engine tanks. You can get this whole top spine is 3D printed. And it's designed to be exactly the same as the spine that comes with it, except there's a few tiny details missing so that you wouldn't mistake it for an original. And then there's the glider from one of the shows that comes right off the top here. Come on, get out. And that just sort of slots onto the spine. The really cool thing is, though, the legs on the Dinky Eagle are kind of squat and don't have detail. These are metal, printed at Shapeways, and they're taller like a real eagle. And they have these little hinge brackets that you don't see on the original Eagle right there.
That's cool.
Okay.
These are metal, and they just slot right into place in place of the originals if you take it apart. Now, these side engines, which get lost all the time, these are I had these printed in aluminum at Shapeways.
Wow.
Oh man.
This pod, this is the rescue pod that they never made. I've made all these pods that Dinky never did, but this one's made of like 20 different plastic pieces, all assembled, and it snaps into the top of the Eagle like so, and away you fly.
That is
Wow,
so
that's pretty dope.
So here's a comparison. This is mine, and this is the one that 1612 the company did in 14-inch or 12-inch scale, or 12-inch scale. So this is theirs, and this is mine.
Yeah, that's great,
Good.
man.
I also
Amazing.
made these in resin for a small Konami Eagle, which is about 4.5 inches. And I sold quite a lot of those in my Etsy store.
You're like
See,
on another level.
no
Dude.
kidding.
I was just gonna say that. It's like when you see this stuff and you think of like, who designs this shit? It's
Yeah.
him. It's guys like him.
exactly.
Yeah. It's awesome. It's
Like,
it's
who
awesome.
makes this shit? Oh, it's him.
Yeah. That's what I think I love. I've said this a million times. Forgive me if I keep saying it. That's what I kind of love about the 1/6 scale G.I. Joe community is how we have so many guys who are so creative and are doing so many really cool things. And I think you had who'd you have on from the G.I. Joe? Used to work for Hasbro. Several.
Derek.
Daryl.
Daryl
the priest.
Daryl the
But
Priest,
Daryl
yeah.
talked about how it's us that are driving the hobby right now. Like people like obviously Sean is like the tip of the spear. It's just that's so true, right? I mean,
Yep.
it's almost like we've ascended to where we're just making our own shit now and just doing our own things, having our own adventures in our 50s and 60s, and just having the most fun of our lives, you know?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm a friend of Daryl's. We met up way back. I have his book signed and all that, and I think he's gonna be at the DFW show too.
Yeah, I'd love to
Yeah.
talk to
One
that
of the
guy
things-
someday.
One of the things that like 1/6 scale is great. So I mostly print in ABS with old printers, but there are new resin printers, of course. And I printed this guy, this little kind of a
Yeah,
Wow.
in clear plastic. I printed this, then I painted it.
yeah,
So I handed a bunch of these out at the show at Toylanta last year for
Yep.
free because I had a bunch of them printed. I sent Jeff. You've got a couple of them.
yeah. I love them. I love those.
Yep. I got a couple. Yep.
And then just to try it out, I did this.
Oh, watch out! Watch out! Watch out!
No.
This is printed in resin as well for the most part. Now the handles are printed in plastic, and the reason I did is when you print in layers, really deep layers, you actually get kind of a wood grain.
Oh wow,
which-
you do. That's cool.
So
Yeah.
I kind of wanted that, so I printed this with like 0.25 layer height just to get that detail. And of course, I printed the gauge and stuff. The worst thing is when this came out of the vat, this was really clear, but once you cure it in the sun and light, it kind of clouds over. But there's a red spiral in there that you can't really see. You only see a very basic
Right.
form of it, but it's in there. But that
What
was
about
just
the
so that,
floor
you know,
polish?
scale up.
What about
have
doing
fun?
the floor
Have
polish?
fun getting that through TSA. Is this guy a time traveler?
You'd be going back to Canada.
But it's ray guns are one of my thing, right? So
Yeah.
this is one of my
Yep.
ray guns.
Talk about TSA problems.
Yeah,
Wow.
this is available on Shapeways in 1/6 scale, so you can get this in tiny. And then
That is
my other
cool.
one is this other one's the first one I designed.
that's
All of
cool.
which is supposed to invoke the 1950s ray gun idea.
It's
Yeah.
kind
But
of got a Flash Gordon vibe kind of to him.
very much
Oh,
so. That was
yeah.
the whole point of this one. Oh, speaking of Flash Gordon, I also did this.
Oh, cool.
The ship. Yeah, that's a
Them old
great.
serials. That's neat.
I modeled that from a couple of years ago. Somebody produced some photos of the actual studio model. There's like 50 photos from different angles showing all the details.
Yeah.
I studied it very carefully. And this one even,
kidding.
I don't know, does this one do it? I think it does. One of these I modeled, the door comes open. I don't know if it does on this one or not. So there's a hinge here and the door pops down.
Wow.
And the door pops down. And when you pop down the door, it's got stairs in the door.
Oh, for crying out
And
loud.
unfortunately, I don't know if this one is glued into place now or what because it broke or what. But if I did this right, this door would fold down and there would be steps on the door.
Neat.
Jumping anyway. Oh, Sean.
That's cool stuff, man.
Hey Jeff,
I
getting
will
back
mad
to the
scientist.
getting back to the thing you said earlier about how everybody's making the best stuff. Our community's helping each other out and always hooking each other up. When he sent us that box, he sent me those two little things to hook in the what is it the helicopter thing?
Yeah,
Mike Powell.
for the ATV,
yeah.
right?
So he sent me those, and I was like, "What is this for?" And he's like, "Oh, okay." So Sean's explaining it to me. Well, then I went to Jim Egner because he makes the 3D printed
It's the
helicopter.
Mike Power helicopter, right?
Mike Power,
Yeah,
Mike Power
yeah.
thing.
I have one of those.
Dude, I didn't tell you that it came to me, and it was just like a quarter of an inch off, man. I mean, just barely.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I was like, am I doing this wrong? Is this wrong? So I contacted Sean. Sean's like, no, mine's geared to that. I told Jim Egner, he's like, no, Sean's right. Let me redo this for you. I mean, that's just how the community. But I mean, he didn't take offense to it. I mean, he was just like, dude. He goes, no, I'll hook you up with another one. I said,
Well, the first thing I said was, "Well, send me the length, and I'll print you a new one."
Well, that's what he did. So I mean, I just measured it, and it's in the mail already. But I mean, that's just how the community is. It's like, try to get that done with somebody else, like Hasbro.
Yeah.
This is my latest
so
thing.
neat.
I've been
This
watching
is
that.
introduction.
That's awesome.
That's cool.
Yeah, I saw
This
your
is
video on that.
years ago. I did. Oh, hang on. There's one right over here. So
Didn't you do one, Jeff?
What's
The
that?
working motor. Yeah.
Didn't you review that one, Jeff?
No, that's his new one. He's been building on his YouTube channel.
Oh,
So
maybe
this-
that's where I
this-
saw it.
That's the one I'm
You might
reviewing.
remember this. This is the weather
Yeah.
tracker.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right.
This
And that
one has
hooks
a motor in it. You wind it up, and unfortunately, the motor is a bit iffy. But once you get it going,
Yep.
I need to recalibrate it or whatever. It's been beating around for a while. But once you got it going, the motor, and this would spin,
That's
and then
neat.
that would make the antenna go around.
Jeez.
And then
Love it.
I couldn't find the motors anymore, so I said maybe it's time to beef it up and use electronics instead. So I found these slow motors, and so now I made the much beefier, bigger version of it.
Yeah.
And I have a little light in here that does a thing.
Oh my
And
god.
then,
Oh.
and then there's a battery pack here. And when you turn on the battery pack, the antennas rotate. One antenna reciprocates back and forth, and the other rotates. And then the really cool thing is the light display in here.
Yeah, how's that?
There's an LED
going
in
over?
there.
How did you do that?
Okay,
Yeah.
that was an experiment. Oh, and also that also drives a radar, which is not spinning now because it's broken. But this would spin as well because it's all connected to the same motor.
Right.
So this
How?
this is a cylinder. Let me turn it off for a sec. It's a cylinder with an LED inside, and there's a little gap in the cylinder, like maybe this wide.
Right.
And then over that is another cylinder that has an angled cut going all right around the belly. And
Ah,
inside, there's little struts keeping that opening open.
Right.
That fits around the slot, so the light comes out through the slot, but then the slot in the belly forms the
Right.
shape of the light.
Wave.
yeah,
Right.
gotcha.
And then you get this effect.
Yeah.
Very
All
clever,
right.
Sean.
Yeah.
Gotta
Very
hand
good.
it to you, man. That's awesome.
Genius.
This is an idea I had years ago. I wanted to try it out, and I didn't know if it would work or not. So I finally bit the bullet, sat down, designed this thing based on the original, and sat down and tried to figure out how to make it all work. And it works. The only thing, it'll be ready now except for this. It's very crunchy.
Oh, the style.
So somewhere in there, something's rubbing up against something, and I got to figure out what it is and smooth that out. But once that's done, this will be ready for production.
Is that the one? Is that the prototype from your YouTube?
Yeah, this is the prototype for my YouTube.
Okay. Yeah.
So Mr. Largo has a question for you. Can you read that question, or is it too small?
So for us noobs to 1/6 scale Joe Customs, what's the best way to procure Huxter goodies for our adventure team if we missed them on Cotswold? Wait for them again on Cotswold, I guess.
Pretty much.
I mean, I actually put a blog post up recently, last few months ago, because somebody was really kind of pressuring me to make stuff for them, and I didn't really want to at the time. And because I'm kind of busy. I have a job too, by the way. I should mention I have a job. So
was it Jeff Shear? Was it Jeff Shear?
No, it wasn't Jeff. It was somebody else. They were really kind of obnoxiously pressuring me to make something for them. I said, "Well, do you do custom orders?" I said, "Well, I don't usually, but the fact is, I will if I want to, and it's nothing to do with you. It's nothing to do with you. It's entirely to do with me. Am I in the mood? Am I done with this major project? Do I have a little spare time? Will I print a couple? Do I have some spares already printed? If all these things align, I'll make a custom order for somebody, but generally don't. But yeah, it depends. And if you ask me, it depends entirely on my mood. And like I said, it's nothing to do with you. It's entirely to do with me.
So those
whether or not it piques your interest too.
Yeah, all right. If somebody says, "Hey, would you do?" So a while ago, when I was really getting into it, I made these UFOs, like all these really sweet little UFOs. And one of the guys online found me and said, "Would you make me some UFOs?" And he told me how much he'd pay me. I said, "Absolutely, I will." So
you're a man after my own heart, Sean.
He's not too busy. He's not too busy now, is he?
I printed him a number of UFOs and rockets too. He loved rockets. So this is one of my favorite rockets. It's totally my design, which is really kind of just a pretty simple, basic rocket, but it's got you got your rivets all over the place and doors, and it's just a swept back rocket design. And so he kept buying these rockets from me, and he said, "Would you mind?" And he would send me ideas for rockets, and I said, "Yeah, I'll do that one." So I would model the rocket and send it to him. So sometimes, depending on how much I'm interested in something, I'll not only make a custom order, but actually model something. This is a little rocket based on a model kit you can get called Apollo 27. Mine's Apollo 42. And these are hinged engines, so they hinge down.
Oh, cool.
Oh, my gosh.
They kind of hide partly in the body.
I love it.
Man. Again, who thinks of this shit? Guys like you.
Does anybody remember these?
Yep.
Yes.
This is 3D printed. This is the Cosmic Kittles.
Wow.
And inside would come a little, a bunch of years ago, Basic Fun made a small replica of this for a keychain, and I really liked it because I had one when I was a kid, the real one. And so because of 3D printing, I can make a large one, right? This is just a vending machine bubble.
Yeah.
And then I just modeled the thing to be as close to the original as I could. And just because I had one as a kid and it was this color, and I wanted it again, so I just made it.
That's awesome.
Got a little thank you there from Logic Blaster.
Yeah.
Saying you're
Thank you.
helping out the community as always. Man.
One of the things I did a bunch of years ago is I modeled Rick and Morty's Rick's car in great detail. And one of my friends, because I work in this industry, one of my friends said, "I know that guy. I see him at the cafe all the time." So I sent him one to give to that guy, and I had never heard back whether he got it or not. But it's possible he did. But that was kind of cool.
Wow.
That's wild. That's awesome.
Absolutely amazing, Sean. You are blowing it away. Absolutely blowing it out of the water.
I'm only trying to have fun.
But
But there's a big difference between your kind of fun, which you make stuff, and the kind of fun that we do is repairing stuff.
Yes.
Well, see, that's just as important. I mean, I make new stuff.
I don't know about that.
Repairing vintage stuff is vitally important, I think.
I don't know.
Yeah. No, it is.
Sure.
Definitely is.
For sure.
It is.
Has a huge place in the hobby.
I was going to ask you, when you made those sets back in the day, you said 20 for the Dallas Fort Worth. I mean, that's it? Then you never do it again, or
No.
Kyle's there.
We it depends. It depends on what Greg wants. So I mean, I do this stuff for me. I sell it through Greg because he does the marketing, he puts out the catalog, he does the shipping and all that. And so because I don't want to do any of that. And I'll send him some, and then he'll sell them. And when they're gone, he'll maybe a few months later say, "Can you make 6 more of these or 5 more of these?" And
12,
like
15,
4 or 5
20.
months ago, I just did a reorder. Like I said, "Hey, would you?" He gave me basically an order saying, "I want 6 of these, 7 of these, 12 of these, and whatever." And I make them and send them.
Yeah.
Wow.
So nothing I've done is a one-off. You will see it again sometime. That's the only thing I don't know when is.
So what do you do with your screw ups? I'm sure you probably have a pile of the plastic in the corner.
A lot of them just go in the garbage, but I do keep some for a lot of reasons. And I keep prototypes too. So I've got the trailer. I've got one in pink, white, and green. That's ridiculous, but it was an early prototype because and these are colors I don't use a lot. So all my prototypes are interestingly colored because they're colors I don't use frequently. So the first one of these, which you can see on my website if you go, the prototype is honeydew green and cantaloupe orange and pink, I think. So and those I keep just for fun.
So
between see if I had any weirdly colored prototypes here, but I don't at the moment.
Between you and Greg, like who kind of approaches who more often than not to develop like a new idea? Because I know you said you've got stuff going back forever.
It depends. Usually Greg will come to me because he needs something or wants something to sell, or he has a new set idea. And he's one of the things he's always wanted to do was make original sets. And he was particularly fond of box sets. So we've done a few of those, the Arctic, the polar bear set with the tracker and the bazooka and the drone. And so he will come up with an idea and say, "Hey, what do you think of this?" And we'll chat about it and we'll talk about it. And I'll say, "Well, I can do that. I can do this. I can do that. I wouldn't want to do that. Maybe I'll do this. And this really cool. I'll do that right now." And we just come up with cool sets. Sometimes like with the aerial drone, it was kind of like me. I came up with that. But only after years, Greg trying to push me to make a Hiller type craft. I actually designed and modeled this, and then I showed it to him and says, "What do you think of this?" He said, "Yeah, I'll take it." And he's constantly just sending me photos and ideas. And so the lunar lander,
you get photos.
the lunar lander comes from all these NASA concepts that he's been sending me.
For sure.
Single man lunar. Oh, by the way, single man lunar explorers. And so so generally Greg will try. If I had no job but this, Greg would keep me busy all the time.
He would.
Oh, yeah. But now
consider a career.
I can't do that. But so like maybe 20% of the ideas are mine and most are Greg's, and like the ideas are mine. Like he'll say, "I have a set, here's some stuff, and then what do you think of this?" And I'll design something on paper and show it to him. And his usual response is, "Oh my God, you read my mind."
Now, let me ask you a question. Right. So, like when you're doing the rendering, do you know pretty much how far you can go to keep it in a certain cost bracket?
Yeah, I mean, 3D printing plastics are dirt cheap now. I mean, it used to be when I was starting out to get a kilogram, which is 2.2 pounds of plastic, it was about $60. Mm-hmm. Now you can get the same for about 20.
Yeah.
And it's better. It works better.
Yeah.
It is cheap, but also these things are not These things are not solid. When they're printed, the outside is printed solid, but the inside is printed with an interior strength lattice.
Right.
So it's basically hollow.
You have supports in
support inside. And so you can crank out a lot of stuff for 2 pounds of plastic. This whole thing probably weighs about 8 ounces, maybe.
Right.
I don't know. I didn't weigh it, but challenge. I'm going to weigh it.
He's such an engineer, man. You guys.
It's sturdy. It's sturdy. I can tell you that.
It's sturdy. I don't design anything that'll break. If it breaks,
no, you don't. It's all robust stuff. I got a 5-year-old that plays with most of it when I first get it, so I test it for you.
12 ounces, and I didn't add the control stump, which would probably add 4 ounces, so maybe like 16 ounces.
Okay, wow,
less than a pound. So, and this is all printed in multiple colors and then assembled. Yeah, I can get a lot of stuff out in like a $20 reel. So cost isn't the problem. The problem is I've got all this other work to do with it. It's like it just eats up my time. It's very time consuming, And I'm doing a set now with Greg, and I'm just not finding enough time to get into the print room and just dig down. All the stuff's printed; it's ready to go. But as you see in my videos, sometimes the assembly part, it's kind of, you always underestimate the assembly part. And so, I more or less charge what I think someone would pay once Greg adds his markup. Would I pay that for this? Sure. And if it's like, this should be $40, but I can't sell it for 60 because nobody would buy it, or I wouldn't want to buy it for 60. And so I kind of keep the price down to something that most people can justify.
Yeah.
Palatable.
Yeah.
If I was to charge for the time and effort I put in, including the prototypes, I do prototypes for free.
Yep.
I ship the prototypes for free. I don't charge for any of that, which of course is stupid business practice.
Yeah.
But when it comes down to it, that's the fun part for me. Prototyping, making it work, perfecting it until it works the way I want it to work and not some other way. That's the fun. That's the hobby. That's the fun part.
Research and development.
That's my enjoyment. And then the assembly, that's kind of what I'm charging for, because I hate. I cut my fingers so often, like 50 times a day. I have one of my most used tools or pieces of equipment is Band-Aids.
Oh,
Plus big heavy gloves, but also Band-Aids.
I cut my hands all the time. I just super glue.
Yep. I go
Super
through.
glue, yeah. Well, this is tiny nicks and cuts that super glue is not gonna fix. But it's
You'd be
annoying.
surprised.
No, I've used super glue on some of the bigger cuts. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So let me ask you a technical question. What
Matthew's comment.
modeling software do you use when you do your 3D designs? Because I recently had a 3D printer given to me, and I'm just slowly starting to work into it. And I've been looking at modeling software, and there's so many different ones.
Yeah, well, that's a deep dark secret, but
Patty has a question.
Because I work professionally as a modeler, and a technical artist, so I have access to tools. But when people ask me, I will say Fusion. Is it Fusion?
Fusion 360.
Yeah, that's supposedly a lot of people use that.
Yeah.
A friend of mine, also Blender. Blender's a good one. Blender is I think it's free, or it was free. A friend of mine started working with Blender and modeled a little alien creature and wanted me to print it in resin, so I did that. I'll print anything for my friends once, if you got a file and I work with you, bring it to me and I'll make the print for you, no problem. But Fusion 360, some people work with that, and that's a bit more like a CAD program, which probably should be using because I'm, making engineered things.
That's what I use at work, a CAD program. Yeah.
My advice on that is find a good 3D program you can use that spits out an STL file, a stereolithograph file, and after that you can do whatever you want. Somebody had a question?
Patty had a question here. I posted it. Can you read that?
Yep.
Can you share your website?
Well, www.huxter.org. That's HUXTER.org. Can you type that somewhere in the chat, maybe?
Yeah, anybody can. Yep.
I don't know. Can I? I don't know.
Not private chat, but on the right hand side, you can type it in there.
Oh, I didn't know I could. I can't see a window for it. So.
Okay, I could probably do it on my end.
No, we don't either.
You can always throw it in the description too, when you post the stream.
Yeah.
That's what I usually do.
What'd you do, Huxter Lab?
No, www.huxter.org.
Oh, .org. Okay.
And then that'll bring up two panels. One takes you to my Shapeways store, and one takes me to my actual website, which is just /words. If you put /words at the end.
And then there's the Adventure Team.
Now, once you're there, if you want to see my old Adventure Team stuff, you can go to the little tab on the front that says G.I. Joe and click on the G.I. Joe logo, and that takes you to kind of a reconstruction of my old pages, because all those servers went away. I kind of reconstructed them quickly and put them back out there. And so all my old photo stories are there. All my custom are there. All that is available.
Again.
I can't get the old photo stories, so that it's still upsets.
All right, let me type this in the private chat. Let me see. So, let me, while I'm here, maybe I can find it. Yeah, here it is. Let me just go and, it's not letting me. Hang on.
I know.
Talk amongst yourselves. I'll have this fixed in a second.
Yeah, your old photo stories were just amazing. I used to love them.
I was
great.
really inspired by Todd Pleasant and Dave Pisani's work.
Aren't
And
we all?
I said, oh, absolutely. Who wasn't, right?
Jeez.
And I love their stuff
DiBiase.
so much that I just did it.
Yeah.
Let me see where I'm at.
Todd and Dave and then
I'm going
Dan
to post this in the
DiBiase
private
and your
chat.
stuff.
Maybe one of you can post that to the public one, because I don't seem to be able to type in there.
Yeah, I know. Me neither. Paul will have to do it, or we'll do it at the end.
Copy paste that, Paul, and that.
Copy
So
link
this is-
that's saved.
There's a lot of broken links in there and stuff, but mostly
Yeah.
it works. Mostly it works.
Cool.
And like I have
Those
an 8-part
amazing.
Doctor Who story in there
Yeah.
that took several years to do.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
And that was based on a Doctor Who story, The Key to Time. And I never liked the way it ended. So I said, well, I'm going to make my own. And I basically made it as if that original story was like a test. And now that he's passed the test, he's got to do it for real. And there's characters and props and sets and a really decent story, I thought anyway. And an ending that just will... Ending surprised even me when I came up with it. So I thought that was a really good ending.
It was. I mean, that was the golden age of collecting back in the 90s, early 2000s, boy.
Sure was,
Yeah.
yeah.
You
It
know,
was fun.
stuff was plentiful, shipping was cheap, and
No
creativity
kidding.
was all over the place.
Now, if I had my 3D printers back then,
Oh
that'd
my
be a different
God.
story.
I'd be broke today.
Yeah, me too.
Oh,
Me
man.
too.
But I wouldn't have spent it all on shipping.
Yeah. What the hell has happened to shipping? Wow.
Yeah, really.
No letter mail anymore.
Ridiculous.
3 packages, $33 today. I shipped. Crazy.
Yeah.
Yikes.
I remember
You guys should
early
try
days on
pirate
eBay.
ship.
I was buying all this stuff on eBay in the 90s, and literally priority shipping was $3.95.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well,
You guys should try pirate ship.
no.
Why? Oh, you can't do it?
Just doesn't sound safe.
No, it's good.
Yeah.
It really is. What it does, it gives you
It's
it gives you a
division of
discounted
pirate.
rate, and it pulls all everybody up. USPS, FedEx, and it gives you all their prices. And then you just
Oh,
choose
wow.
which one you want.
Really?
Oh, okay.
Well, I thought,
I've been using
I
it
thought
now,
was
and
actually
I'm telling you,
actual
it's-
shipping company.
It's at least 2/3 cheaper most of the time.
Yeah.
Okay. I will check
wild.
it out.
Canada,
I'll
we
check
have
it
a
out.
thing with the post office called Venture, and if you do a fair amount of shipping, you can get a card, and it
Yeah.
gives you business rates.
Are you
instead of-
guys?
I had a
are you
business
guys
account
following
with
the
the
New Wave
USPS,
Toys
and it's still
stuff?
cheaper.
Oh,
The,
so
the
something
what,
like-
Sean?
Are you guys following the New Wave Toys arcade machines, 1/6 scale?
No.
No.
These are amazing. It started with Centipede on a Kickstarter, which I backed. Hang on, you're gonna want to see this. This is really
Yes.
too cool.
It's a freaking Coke machine, too.
Yeah. So this is a Coke machine. It
Yeah.
is an actual cooler. You open it up. There's room for
I
two
saw
cans
that
in
somewhere.
What?
Oh,
What the hell is that?
the tin cans. This is Frenzy. Let me grab Hubert.
Oh, wow. And you can actually play them?
Oh yes, this is the original arcade ROM.
That's
Wow.
Oh, my God.
This one's got the knocker. If you were playing this in the arcade, when he fell off, there would be a kick in it, and it would actually knock. That's in here as well.
What?
Wow.
Yeah, 1/6 scale, plays for real. Like that's
Really?
Amazing.
Do they have a website for those?
yeah, New Wave Toys.
I gotta write that down. I got a buddy at work who might buy all those.
There's a lot of them, and they're not that cheap. But yeah, there's a. Oh my god, I've got Asteroids. They just did Berserk and Frenzy. There's Missile Command, Tempest, Dragon's Lair, which
Oh man, I remember that.
Ace had Dragon's Lair at last year's Joe Lanta, and it kind of convinced me to buy it because my god, it's beautiful. 1942. Yeah, and there's a lot more besides that. I only bought the ones I liked. Oh, and by the way, this is my TARDIS that was in all my GI Joe shows.
Yeah. Well, if you get those,
Too cool.
arcade machines for your adventure team, nobody's going to be out adventuring because they'll be playing video games.
Oh yeah.
The cool thing is, I was trying to make one of these myself when their Kickstarter started up, and said, "Well, I don't have to do that anymore," and I just bought their Kickstarter. And I've been buying them ever since.
Beauty.
Yeah.
No.
I hate and love that when it happens. When I have like a really great
Well-
idea, and then bam, I see it.
last year, I guess it was on Facebook. I was on one of the groups. I might have been their New Wave Toys fan group, and I was talking about how Kubert kind of changed my life, because back when I was, and you'll see this on my website if you want. Back when I was writing on my Commodore 64, I wrote a game much like Kubert as a test. That was one of the reasons I bought my Commodore 64. And I posted this on Facebook, and Jeff Warren, the guy who wrote Kubert, contacted me. And then I told him about my Kubert Pez dispensers.
Holy shit.
Kidding.
So this is my little Kubert Pez dispenser. A real Pez dispenser.
Yeah.
I just made the head to fit on it.
Cool.
Oh my God.
And then I have Kubert. And then I sent one of each of these to him, so he was quite happy to get that.
That is awesome. That's just super cool.
Hey, man, I hate to say it, but we're past the hour mark, and I know we could do this all night
Again.
with John, man. No
I
doubt.
warned you needed a 3-hour show.
Yep.
You know what?
Stop.
Hey,
Yeah.
We need to keep talking.
So
No
I
more.
was just looking at my list of questions I sent you. We didn't get to any of those, so
I know.
we're definitely gonna have you back. We're definitely gonna have to have you
I
back
wrote
around.
6 pages of answers, Paul. Let's go.
Hey, was there any of my questions that you really want to answer right now? I mean, on that list, was there anything really stuck out? I know you said earlier about the.
We missed.
Well, I think one of the coolest ones was, what was your fondest childhood memory
Okay.
with toys?
Yep.
And that was when I was very young. I was too afraid to ask for what I wanted for Christmas. Now, in September, we get the Sears catalog, and we would get in Canada, we get the Eaton's Christmas catalog, and we would just pour through those like crazy. And we would dream and wish. But my grandmother, I was raised by my grandparents. My grandmother would always try to get out of me what I wanted for Christmas. And she always told me later in life, and I didn't realize this, she said that I could never get you to tell me what you wanted for Christmas. So one day we went over to her sister-in-laws and one of my great aunt, and they had the clever idea of sitting her down with me and then going through the catalog until I pointed out what I wanted. And it was a horse, about this big, and it was a gray horse, and it had a neck that bent down to eat, and its head wagged back and forth. And so I kind of pointed to that. And lo and behold, Christmas comes, and in our family, the tradition is you can get up before the parents and open your stocking. And they always had something like a comic book in there, something to eat, something fun to play with, so you could occupy yourself until the parents got up when they were ready to get up, and morning light had come. And so in the absolute pitch dark, I go down to get my stocking, and I see a silhouette on the table of the horse. And I think, they got me the horse. And then I wait a minute, there's a rider on the horse. And so when the light came up, I saw this was Johnny West sitting on the horse. And the horse was Johnny West's horse. I forget his name now, but it was the one with the head that bows down. And like Johnny West had come with all this cool gear, a pistol, a Derringer, a lockbox with bags of gold, with a teapot. And it was like, that was probably the best memory of my toy childhood.
Very cool.
That's
So
awesome.
have you ever picked up your Johnny West or the horse?
I do have some of the horses because of G.I. Joe, but I haven't actually gone out and I found a few, but I've never picked them up. I like Johnny West, but I like G.I. Joe a heck of a lot more now. So
yeah, I get that.
All right, guys, it's that time.
So many. I had about 10 of those things, and I had the ranch, which was only available in Canada, I think. So it was a ranch with a corral and a house, and I had that too. I have photos all on my website.
I'm gonna go check this out.
All right, guys, it's that time, man.
I made you late.
It wouldn't be my show.
No,
if we didn't have
this
trivia,
is not
trivia at the end of
unusual.
the show. You know that, Murray.
Right, give you time.
Sean, you got another minute to spare with us?
Oh hell yeah! No, I'm not going anywhere. You have to shut me off. You got to kick me out.
He's
All right,
Canadian.
so if you haven't seen my show before, I do
We're
trivia.
Canadian. We don't go home until you kick us out.
The way my trivia is, it's just true or false questions. We go around the room 3 times. Everybody gets 3 questions, and this is Mike Bowitzki's favorite part of the whole show right here, man. So
I love this part of the show.
I do as good as I did yesterday.
tonight's trivia is vintage cartoons. Vintage
Oh,
cartoons.
Lord.
So, first one, Murray.
Uh-huh.
Well, actually, you're from Canada. Did you guys even have the same cartoons we have? Or
Yes.
Shut up and give us the question.
all right.
Who
The
is- who
The
be-
Tasmanian Devil made his debut in the Roadrunner cartoon. Is that true or false?
No, it would be Bugs Bunny, I think.
That is correct, sir. It was Bugs Bunny. Very good.
Yeah, we had the same. We had American TV up here too.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right.
Yeah,
Medic
Saturday
Mike.
morning is American TV.
Medic Mike, you're up. The Flintstones is one of the most popular cartoons in history and takes place in the Stone Age. True or false?
You really asked me something. Whoa.
True? Go with true?
Yeah, true, of course.
All right. You are correct. Stacy, Mortimer Mouse is an alternative name for Mickey Mouse. True or false?
True.
Mortimer Mouse.
True.
Yep.
That is false, sir.
It wasn't. It was his first name.
It is Minnie's cattle farming uncle, Mortimer
No,
Mouse.
I worked for Disney. Mortimer was Mickey's name.
I thought
first
originally
name.
it was too, and then they
No,
also
you're
said,
wrong. You need to look up your shit.
"I'm not
I
wrong.
know that for sure.
I'm not wrong. The internet's wrong, man."
That's wrong. Mortimer. It was Mortimer
Whose
Mouse.
show is this?
I worked for Walt Disney World. I drove bus there for a little bit.
Hey, Murray, Google that shit while I'm going on with the show. Okay.
Sean's looking it up.
The Viking, sir. Donald Duck was banned in Finland. True or false?
No.
Donald Duck was banned in Finland.
I would probably say true. That'd be something crazy they do.
Yep, because he didn't wear pants.
Well, pants are optional where I live too.
Mortimer was Mickey's rival.
Yep.
Ah,
No, it was,
Mickey Mouse's rival. We're all wrong.
States, you just eat it.
I'm
No,
telling
you
you.
weren't wrong. He was actually
Okay.
cattle something, the uncle, but he was Mickey Mouse's rival, and he was much more crude, and so therefore she chose Mickey.
aha. There you go. All right, to our special guest tonight. Your question, sir. Duke is the dog's name in the series Tom and Jerry. Duke.
False.
You are correct. It is. Do you know?
I don't. I just know it's not Duke.
It is Spike. Spike.
Like, right.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Wow.
Round two. Winnie the Pooh's original name was Ted. True or false?
False.
No.
And it was?
It's Winnipeg.
Yeah.
No. Edward.
Winifred?
Edward.
Edward.
Edward
It
Bear.
is kind of Ted, isn't it?
Yep.
Nice
Edward
English
Bear.
name. Nice proper
Medic-
English name.
Medic Mike.
Yes.
Bugs Bunny serves as the official mascot for Warner Brothers Entertainment. True or false?
Well, it ain't Porky
I have
Pig.
no freaking clue, so I'm going to say true.
That was a good guess, sir. You are correct.
Yeah.
Stacy.
Yep.
Stacy, you want to fight with me again, or you want to just go with what they
Yes.
Yeah.
Yogi Bear's best friend was Scrappy. True or false?
I know. this.
No, false. And if I'm wrong, I'm gonna rip your internet out this time.
You're not wrong.
This is the first night I had it working good, man. Don't run it.
No.
Boo-boo.
It's working.
It
good,
was
too.
Boo Boo. You are correct. It was
Boo
Boo Boo. Slowpoke Rodriguez and Speedy Gonzalez are cousins. True or
Yeah.
false? That is to Jeff.
Oof.
Ooh,
I'll go ahead and I guess say true.
It is true, sir. Yes, sir. Good job.
golly.
I think Murray helped me with that one. So I'm gonna
Sean,
go
you
with
can
Murray.
finish round two here.
Sure.
Glad to help.
Wayne Arnold is Shaggy's real name from Scooby Doo. Wayne.
Nope, he's Norval
Arnold.
Rogers.
Wow. You didn't even
Yeah,
hesitate on
alright.
that one. You are correct. It is
We
Norville
watch a lot of
Rogers.
Scooby Doo.
I watch a lot of Scooby Doo.
Yeah, we watch a lot of Scooby Doo here.
Last round. Dumb Donald, Mushmouth, and Russell were all members in the Fat Albert cartoon.
Yeah.
That's true.
Whose question is that?
That,
I think it's mine.
That's
Murray. Dumb Donald,
Thank you
Mushmouth,
for the easy one.
Great cartoon. That's a great cartoon.
It was.
Ranger Miller was the park ranger in Yogi the Bear. True or false? That is to Medic
I don't
Mike.
think so.
I believe that is false. His name was not Miller.
I thought it was Smith, wasn't it?
It was Ranger Smith.
Yeah,
Yep,
yeah.
Ranger
Yeah.
Smith.
Ranger Smith.
Yes.
Yep.
3 for 3.
Good job, Mike.
job, Mike.
God.
Laying it
Good job,
down
Mike.
tonight.
Stacy, you still sore? Or are you ready to play? You good?
Oh, your internet's on the line, so I don't care. No.
Oh.
Johnny Quest was TV's first primetime animated sitcom.
False.
Do you know what it was?
Yeah, Flintstones.
Flintstones. Yes,
Yeah.
sir. You're correct.
Wow.
Also the longest running.
Yes.
Wow.
Well,
Jeff,
Maybe not now because the Simpsons been going
Simpsons
on
now,
for a
yeah.
while, but-
Simpsons
Yeah.
got him beat now.
last question to you, Jeff. Max was Snoopy's brother. True or false? Max.
I'd say false on that. I don't
You
think
know what it
Snoopy
was,
had a
sir?
brother.
I do.
did?
What
Yep.
is it? Was it?
Spike.
Spike. It was Spike.
Spikes.
I didn't even
Wow.
know Snoopy had a brother.
I didn't know he had a
Every
brother
dog's
either.
called Spike, apparently.
I just
Yeah.
remember him in
He has an
Woodstock.
uncle too.
Yeah, he has a whole family.
Yeah.
And
I
Spike lives
remember
in
his
Needles.
traveling uncle. I can't remember what his name was, but I
Spike
remember
lives
him.
in Needles, Arizona.
There you go.
Holy smokes!
I read a lot of Charlie Brown growing up. I have
Canadians
I
have a long
200
time in the
pound
winter
collection.
to do nothing much better.
That wasn't on the cartoons then, right? Or
It was in the comics.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't think we ever saw him in the TV cartoons.
Yeah. Okay.
Last question to you, sir. Berensteins, as in the Berensteins Bears, used their own last name when they created a famous bear book series that spawned a Saturday morning cartoon. True or false?
Is that mine?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it's yours.
That is true, but it's not Berenstein. It's Berenstain.
Berenstein.
That's one of those Mandela effects. People think it's Berenstein, but it's Berenstain. But it is it is named after the real people.
Yes, you are correct, sir.
Awesome. Well done, Sean.
We know who the nerdiest person of this group is today. Oh yeah.
The
Hey,
Canadian.
Sean.
It ain't me.
Hey, Sean, I'm going to bring you up
Yeah.
big, and I want to thank you for coming in tonight. This is your last chance. If you want to give out your YouTube channel or Facebook page or any way people can get in contact with you, other than
nope.
Please don't contact me.
you don't even want to let them know what state you live in, right? Nothing.
Nope.
Man.
Nope.
Okay, well, that's the
You
easiest.
guys can Google it yourself.
Google him.
Hey, I want to thank everybody for joining us. Oh yeah, we got to show that. That's from Canada. He's been teasing him all night.
Murray, you
Crispy.
bastard, Murray.
Can't get those in America, man. Those are.
That's
Well, no,
okay.
you can't.
Send me your address.
Every time I go home, I buy a bunch of those.
I
Yep.
bet you do. Send me your address. I'll get some in the mail to you.
I would love to do so.
Hey, you guys have a great night. Thanks for joining us. Remember, no show next Monday, but the following
I'm
week.
gonna be
June
sad.
3rd.
next
Well,
week.
what am I going to do next Monday?
Yeah.
I don't know, John.
It's Memorial Day. You can do whatever you want.
Drink a beer.
Well, what about a Tuesday show?
Hey, man.
How about you run a show?
No.
Okay, I see how
Jeff
it
said
is.
Jeff said he's taking the whole summer off. I'm just taking one Monday off. I mean, come
Yeah.
on, man.
Come on, what would Monday nights be without you, Paul? Come
I'm
on.
gonna do.
Hey, just trying to keep
I'm gonna do some one-on-one live streams.
Yeah, there you go.
I'll try to get some of you guys on there. Just
Oh,
Absolutely,
that'd be
man.
fun.
Hey, no, it's always good
if
to
you
see
got,
the
if you
guys
got
in the
2+
chat.
hours.
2 hours?
Yeah.
The 2-hour show, man.
Oh, I usually spend about 2 hours usually.
Yeah.
It's
People
usually
get to
2
listen to
hours.
me
I
for
think
2
if I had
hours?
Sean on there, we'd
Oh,
probably
yes.
talk for 3.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I did say to Paul earlier when he asked me about all these questions he gave me, I said, "How is this a 7-hour show?" Because I could go for 7 hours.
Well,
no
we're
problem.
definitely going to get you back on and stick to my list of questions, okay?
It's not midnight yet.
That's true.
Yeah. Still early.
It's a
I
school
can
night
go
for
till
me,
next
man.
Monday if you want.
Well, we do have 19 people still in the chat room, so I don't know.
I know. They're not leaving.
So
I'm going to need a beer if I'm going to go any longer. That's all I'm saying.
How's the problem? I heard you're set up by the bar in the living room.
Yeah.
I am literally at the bar. I just put this thing behind me to cover it up.
so what's the
should've
problem then?
Yeah. Turn around, grab a beer.
Yeah.
My fridge is right around the corner. If we're going to keep going, I got plenty.
Yeah.
I can see Sean's wheels
Me
are
too.
turning already, man. He's thinking of something already.
That Coca-Cola
He's like, how much shit can I be printing right now instead of talking to these guys?
Oh no, I'm printing right now.
Yeah,
Oh, you are?
I'm sure he hasn't stopped.
All right,
Because
guys.
I'm
Have a good
24
night.
hours
Have a
a
good
day.
week.
4 of them are almost going 24/7 sometimes.
I will
Take
see you
care,
guys
guys.
in 2 weeks.
Thanks for having me on, guys. Nice to
Hey,
meet you,
thanks, Sean.
Sean.
Hey, Sean, it's good to put a
Meet you,
face to it.
son. Take it easy.
Thanks for meeting everybody.